These cards are called the EMV, EuroPay, MasterCard, and Visa, and that's what EMV means. And they've been developed and used in Europe for over 10 years. Fraud rates in the markets where they've been in place, like in the UK, fraud rates are down by 60%. But what happens there is that people have to use a card and they have to enter a PIN. So there's not only verification of the card itself, there's verification, personal verification that I'm who I say I am. In the US, it's going to be what they call chip and sig, which means I'm going to put a card in, it's going to read it, and it's going to verify that the card is legit, but then it's just going to ask for a signature. Well, you know very well that no one's checking those signatures against any kind of database, and a signature could be fairly easily copied. So it is not nearly as secure as the European or the Canadian system, and that's so our fraud rate, when they cite fraud dropping by these dramatic levels, that's true, but that's with a different system. I expect fraud will be reduced by 20–25%, which is still great, but they didn't want to burden the American consumer with that extra step of having to put their PIN in. It's encrypted, and so it's very difficult to break into. So it makes it hard to copy the card in any way, shape, or form. And so a lot of what's going on is called, the fraud that we see is called skimming. And skimming is somebody puts a reader or some malware into the credit card machine or into the terminal, and when you swipe the card, it just captures all your data. It captures your credit card number, it captures the expiration date, and it captures that CVV, that verification, three-digit verification code. With the chip, they can't do that. So it cuts down on one element of fraud. The new cards knock out some of the fraud, and that'll lower merchant costs. And that's what this is all about, is trying to get the cost under control. But it won't do anything with what they call CNP transactions, which are card not present. That means all your online transactions. And as online has grown in importance into our economy and in importance to merchants, there's more and more fraud, because I can buy off online, I can buy the 16-digit credit card number, your expiration date, and that 3-digit code. I can just go online and purchase that, and then I can buy until somebody stops me. That's the problem with not having the physical card, is that a lot of our economy is now going virtual, and you don't need a physical card. The chip isn't going to stop that. It's transitioning from the credit card companies being responsible and the issuing banks being responsible for the fraud to now the merchants. And so it becomes incumbent upon the merchant to collect the additional information to help verify that that is a bona fide transaction and not somebody doing it. People tend to collect credit cards like they're, baseball cards, and they shouldn't do that. They should, because there's always a better offer coming, and they're like, oh, I'll get this credit card, I'll get that credit card. If you do that, then you should only carry with you a few credit cards that you're going to actually use, and leave the rest somewhere at home in a secure place. You may want to have an American Express card for when you travel overseas or something like that. But if you're not using it on a day-to-day basis, then put it away and lock it up. So that way, if your wallet or purse is lost or stolen, you don't have that type of issue. So I think the number one thing is just to have a small number of credit cards and to check your statements.